No, dang it. Give me a break here. All right, there we go. Now that we got that set up, let me try to get my phone in its stand before I put you guys looking at me instead of that beautiful bud on the screen. Quite a beautiful bud, isn't it? All right, don't hit the lock button. Get in place. There you go. Good job, phone. All right. That wasn't as hard as it usually is. Not duo, solo. What is up in the world today? How we all doing? Let's see, helps a little bit. Yeah, that helps. All right, backwards out of camera. Ooh, that was lucky. That was some lucky luck. Lucky fucky lucky fuck. I learned the other day that one of my neighbors, she was opening up a pack of cigarettes and she's like, flipped. And she did it exactly how I do it. So, like a lot of people do. If you don't know what that is, you got one for luck. People do that, but then people do one for luck, one for fuck. But I don't know many people that do them exactly the way I do: the front, center, two, straight, and the middle. Like I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but when I did, I always flipped those two. People say, "Why do you have two cigarettes flipped?" One for luck and one for fuck. Anyways, all right, let us smoke some good shit, shall we? Well, I'm not sure what you're going to do out there in the world of wherever you are, but I'm going to have me some of this delicious gremlin. Not to be confused with super gremlin. This is merely gremlin. Super gremlin is sativa. Gremlin is a lovely, relaxing, sedating indica. All right. Beautiful function. Honestly, I prefer to use my MJ arsenals for dabs rather than weed. But it's nice once in a while, especially when you get a real terpy weed, which this one really isn't. But I've been smoking out of the MJ for a minute, the weed. It honestly depends on the strain. If it's one of the ones that gives me the itchy throat and the icky uckies that I don't like using the smaller. I just prefer, I don't know, I prefer not to smoke that kind at all. I don't like the itchy throat and the that it gives you. This stuff is very smooth. The Gremlin, super fucking smooth. Okay, it's good. Takes the edge off. That's what that does, for sure. If you're wondering how I'm using a full-size bowl with an MJ mini rig, I have a adapter piece. I couldn't find a small banger, so I got an adapter. It goes from the MJ Arsenal size, 10, I think it is, to the 14 or 16 to 14, whichever way it goes. I think it's backwards from the ear gauging. So I think 16 is bigger, 14 is this size, and 10 is the small one. Because ear gauging, smaller is bigger. Has anybody else's cats been going crazy? And I don't mean just like in heat kind of crazy. My cat has been attacking my fucking dog, attacking me. Like she'll always like run up behind me and slap my leg and stuff. And sometimes her claw will get me or something, but she's just kind of like, hey, fucker, I want attention, like kind of doing that. But she actually, like, I walked in the room earlier today and she looked at me and she goes, "Rah!" Like that one, I seen a video one time where a cat attacked a dude and just like fucking, it was like all over the, he was like, oh my God, oh, kitty, kitty. And it was like hardcore, like fucking clawing him in the face and jumping on his head and like bouncing off the fucking walls. And then I also seen earlier, every time my dog and my cat get into it, I think my cat's getting hurt real bad because she's always like, "Meow." Well, I've seen it earlier today, like direct eye line of sight. She was under the chair, not being touched. He was in front of the chair, just slapping, like on either side of it, fucking with her. And the whole time he was slapping on the floor, she was like, she sounded like somebody was wringing her neck. Like the sounds that cat was making were insane for not being touched. She is a fucking wildcat. I don't want to smoke them away. Let's take a dab. Let's do that. Let's do that thing. All right. Oh, let's see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and heat that one up. We'll use it. Use my blender slurper, I guess you call it. It's a blender mixed with a slurper. That's one of my green pearls. Can't even really tell it's green. It's so damn dark. So very dark green. Got like 3 different green colored pearls. Cat pearls. 2 of them are very close, and one of them is much brighter. Yeah, here they are. You probably should be able to actually see them, maybe. Yeah, you can see that one. That's the brighter colored one. You can actually kind of see the green there in the bottom. But these ones, much darker. It's like a turquoise color. And that one's super dark. Oh, I don't know what cap I want to use. Purple, red, glow in the dark. Got like 4 or 5 glow in the dark pearls I never use. Okay, we'll use a glow pearl, even though it's not going to glow because we're in bright light. Ah! So ironic. Oh, here we go. I'm going to have me a dab or 2 and get stoned out of my mind for you. Well, for me, in front of you. So, if you are unaware, I've recently reviewed Blueberry Yum Yum on my locals page. And no, I don't just sit here and say random shit. I do actually have a point to my lives and when I come on. Anyway, And one of those points is to get very stoned. The other point but the other point would be to direct you towards my locals content. Why locals? Because Facebook, X, I've never really had much luck with, but Facebook and Instagram like to shadow ban cannabis content. So yeah, if you want to actually see my content, check it out on locals. Because, for example, I did a review on Blueberry Yum Yum, and because it stood out to me initially from the very jump, because it was only a 69% or a 59% THCA profile, so it immediately stood out to me from the low THC. And it has very high beta myrcene, which I usually talk about finding lower beta myrcene, but if you can find a lower THC with high beta myrcene, it's going to do the same thing as finding a lower beta myrcene. But it had a high beta myrcene and was terpinolene dominant. I mean, that's the highest terpene in the profile was terpinolene. Yet it expresses as an 80-20 indica dominant hybrid. Blueberry Yum Yum and the regular Blueberry Yum Yum, Durban Poison crossed with blueberry. And the pinene lean formula fits perfectly in it because a non-answer or an incorrect answer for the formula indicates I described it as simplicity of proximity to landrace genetics. And now it's further defined as null 1 and null 2, like not working 1, not working 2. And Blueberry Yum Yum is a perfect example of opposition in totality, which is null 2, which you get that when the answer is completely opposite totally. So instead of a 80-20 indica, it's telling you that you have all alpha pinene, no beta pinene. That's saying that that's 100% sativa. We know it's not. What that's speaking to, due to the way that the profile was developed and the formula, what it's based on, it indicates proximity to simplicity of landrace genetics. Simplicity of proximity, excuse me. So how quickly the parent strains get back to Mother Nature genetics out in the wild. Well, in a lab, but near original genetics, OG genetics, landrace genetics, aka heirloom. So I am not a cultivator, but if I do recall properly, heirloom is simply landrace removed from its endemic environment, grown elsewhere, like your bedroom closet. So like Durban Poison that we have on the market now, it's still technically like Durban Poison is landrace, but because we grow it in different areas, I guess that would make it heirloom. If I understand that differentiation correctly. All right. Now that we're up to temp with my very slow heating lighter. Got enough light in here, you can actually see the dabs now. Amazing. Cheers. Well, I forgot anything in the big torch. Even a little bit of help. Oh yeah. Come on, you. Give me. Get us up to temp. There you go. This is that orange chiffon. I only had a little bit of it. Maybe like, I only had a little bit of it, but it has an orangey, spicy, and it holds on all the way through the dab. And I took a hit of it through a nectar collector last night. My girlfriend came over and brought her nectar collector over. And you actually get a lot of times with nectar collector, I don't get as good a flavor. I don't know why. I think because it gets hot. But even with the hotter dabs, the orange flavor and this, it hangs on, which is very weird because it's got a lower terpene profile than many other orange strains that I've smoked that have much higher terp profiles. And you only get that orange flavor at the beginning, and then it kind of fades off and you just get the hotter temp taste. The orange hangs on through this one. And like I said, it's like a spicy orange rind kind of orange. It's not like a bite into the juiciness of the inside of the orange. It's like like a spiced rind. The outside of it. Got my box. Flip the tail off. So that bitch cools down. I don't feel like trying to reheat it again with this little itty bitty lighter that I have. Got this B-52 bomber. Now you can actually see it. Now I got light in here. Sorry about the low quality. Better quality on locals and Instagram and all my other places. Although it probably would be quicker if I grabbed the little one and use it with it. I have other bangers I could use. I just want to use this one right now. Even though I don't really have a lighter that's cooperating well enough. And this one's working. It's just being very, very dry. Not in a rush though. Just my ADHD kicking in. B-52 bomber. This was a good recommendation by the dude at the apothecary. I mean, there's a new bud tender, I believe. I haven't seen him there before. Blonde beard, kind of dirty blonde hair. He seemed like a pretty cool dude. for the most part. He was like, "Oh, I don't think I would talk about that." And I was like, I said something about stuff being shipped in from California a long time ago. uh, okay. Yeah, we were talking about the prices of stuff that I mentioned about shatter on the street. People being burnt out from it because it's out there so much. When the dispensaries first opened up, they had like a whole fucking bunch of shatter. It's like they pre-stocked themselves with a bunch of shatter, expecting people to want the shatter, but everybody didn't want the shatter. They wanted the other good dabs, which it quickly changed up. But at first, it was kind of hard to come by the live resins and rosins up here in Western Maryland, anyway. I got burnt out on shatter anyway because I knew I was aware of the other types of concentrates that were available, but the only thing that's being sent long distance like that because of the illegality, but in certain states, is something that doesn't smell and easy to transport, like shatter. And it doesn't dry out. It's easier to fucking keep as far as temperature is concerned. You just throw it in the fucking freezer and it harden back up. As long as you don't get it to the point where it's separating and getting sugared up. Got to keep your dabs below, preferably below 70 degrees. When you store them, not when you smoke them. Vaporize them. Excuse me. Because there's a difference between smoking something and vaporizing it. I know it seems obvious, right? But you can, like in the volcanoes, and like not the volcanoes so much. I keep calling the one I used to have. It was a box, and it was a vaporizer I had for weed. It was like a box. It was like a parallelogram shape, and it had like a connector piece that you put your weed down into, a glass piece, a tube, and you just turned the coil up, and it had a coil that you stuck the glass piece down on. And you could turn it up hot enough to ignite the weed and get it burning if you wanted to. But that's the difference. That's combustion when it burns the material. Vaporization, and you can combust dabs. That's why super duper duper hot temps taste like shit, tear you the fuck up, and yeah. Plus, you like fry all of your terpenes at that point. You're not really getting to inhale less well. Anything that you see go is gone when you take those great big hot fucking dabs. I prefer to low temp. I recommend it to people. Like, get your banger just hot enough to melt the dab, melt it, then get it hot and heat it up. I just prefer it. I don't know, because then I get the taste and they get just as fucking high. It just takes a couple more seconds and one more hit before I actually get high versus the taste. Plus, I like to analyze the taste and stuff. It helps with the analysis. Anyway, seriously, check out my article on Blueberry Yum Yum. It's a good article. And I put a lot of fucking time into those things. I don't just piddly dick around when I write them. I didn't do as much research on this one, and I did not include, it's a seed finder, just anything I used. There's the genetic map I included the picture of. So all you'd have to do is fucking back search at Google that and you could find it. But yeah, it's just seed finder. That's the only thing I used, was to look up the genetics of blueberry, the genetic lineage, and then to see what purple tie was to validate my thinking around the idea that Durban poison, right? It's not like your traditional fucking sativa landrace. One, it's South African. Two, it doesn't even present like your normal sativa landrace. And I like to smoke Durban poison, and I hate sativas, so it doesn't present like most sativas do. And purple tie has it's chocolate tie crossed with, I can't remember, but I think there's an indica there. A Kush, I think it's Kush, an indica Kush. I'm trying, like I'm attempting to figure out, like, how the fuck do you get an 80-20 indica dominant hybrid? Like, obviously it's that part's the, like, gotta be the fucking manipulation from us, because it doesn't make sense. Like, sativas are genetically dominant in expression over indica and on indica. Like, and it would make sense that that is so evolutionarily, because sativas come before indica. Like, sativas were here in China growing and stuff, and they're like, oh, go on the Silk Road, and then they fall into the Himalayas and they microadapt, because Himalayas, I had it kind of wrong when I thought, I had a theory about it coming out of South Africa, but either way, the Himalayas is like the perfect area for it to microadapt indica, because it's got the valleys that are hotter and the mountains that are cooler, and it like runs like a river right down into the Afghani steppe. So yeah, anyway, check out the Blueberry Yum Yum article. It's good. There's other articles on there too. There's like 400 posts. So take it easy.